Stro.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jay from the Big Buck Registries Deer Hunting Podcast, and I am down at the Trinity Sportsmen Show, and it's been quite a ride. It's a funny April Fool's Day, and we got dumped on in New Hampshire. We have about, I don't know, what do we get? 12 inches of snow?
About a foot, yeah.
About a foot, and it was the hands down heaviest snow we've had this year, and it took everybody a bunch of extra time to get it cleared out of their driveway, etc. And this event was scheduled for April 1st, and it's we're having a low turnout. It's still snowing outside as I look out the window, so not nearly as many people are showing up. But we're going to be broadcasting live from here all day, and if you can't come down to the show, we're going to bring the show to you.
That's right.
And we've got a great lineup all day long. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of the lineup. We've got Carter Heath is with us right now. We're talking to him in just a second. We're going to speak to the Shed Hunters, Robin James from the Great Shed Hunters Association, Dave Quibby, who was on our show recently. He's a deer hunter, and he gave a couple of talks over at New Hampshire Fish and Game. We're going to be speaking with your good friend John Clucky a little bit, who holds the New Hampshire state record buck. Tom Staples from Morse's Sporting Goods. I can see Tom over there in the corner. And Brandon Reed. And then we're going to go to the New Hampshire edible mushrooms talk with Scott Jackson, foraging for edible mushrooms, I guess, right, in New Hampshire. And we're actually going to take you to that show a little bit later on. So we're pretty psyched to be down here. This Facebook Live is sponsored by our new sponsor, Covert Scouting Cameras. So if you haven't checked them out, definitely go covertscoutingcameras.com, and let's get into the show here with Carter Heath. Carter, how are you, man?
I am doing very well. I'm glad to be here.
Carter is the president of the New Hampshire. No, excuse me, the Capital Region Strutters.
Yes, Capital Region Strutters is our Concord, New Hampshire local chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation.
And, we have all these different associations scattered throughout the country. Each region seems to have their own thing, and I've gone to many a turkey banquet.
Yes, you have.
Yes, I have.
Yes, we have.
And you guys had a great one over last year.
Yep.
Over at Macris.
We had a great event last year, and this year, proud to say, we're having our banquet, our Hunting Heritage Banquet, April 29th at Bass Pro Shops, 2 Commerce Drive, Hooksett, New Hampshire.
Very nice.
Yes, it's we love Macris. It was a great place, but we're expanding. The demand is there. We're growing, and Bass Pro is such a great partner in conservation, both locally and nationally, that it just was a great fit.
Right.
They're wonderful to us. They're hosting our turkey party. So
they're hosting your turkey
party. That's right. We're gonna have a lot of good raffles and a lot of guns.
What do you think about guns? What do you think about the couch?
Loving the couch.
Pretty cool, huh?
I feel like I should be paying you for therapy.
Well, I said to Brandon Reed, who kind of put this whole thing together, I said, hey, do you happen to have a couch that we could use so I can interview people and go live? And he said, you know what? I think there is one down at the Baptist church. So here we are sitting on probably the most comfortable seating arrangement that is in this entire place.
I think we are.
And we get to talk about deer hunting and turkey hunting and all the things that we love.
That's right.
So, Carter, tell me more about what's going on with the National Wild Turkey Federation.
We're growing.
Okay.
New England historically is not like the big turkey mecca of the whole country. Your Southwest, your Middle America has always kind of been your big populations, and we're growing. We've got 38 to 40,000 turkeys here in New Hampshire.
Gotcha.
But New England alone is starting to really get into the whole turkey hunting thing. So.
Well, I can tell you that, and this was a first for me when I was talking to Mark Beauchesne at your event last year. I said, you're going to be impressed by this because I've got 2 fellas coming up from Ohio to hunt turkey in New Hampshire.
That's right.
When was the last time you said, I've got somebody coming to New Hampshire to hunt anything? Right.
That's pretty impressive. That's
Isn't
awesome.
that?
Right. And they did pretty well, if I remember right.
They did very well.
That's great.
And they both, Mike had a shot at some birds.
Yep.
And Dusty took one down with a nice long shot. What was amazing was that our opportunities were endless.
Right.
You could strike out on a bird in one sense and then drive down the road a mile and be on another bird, just like that.
Yep.
And as you know, New Hampshire is very special when it comes to turkey hunting because of our land use laws.
Right. Our open trespass laws and everything. And that's a really fantastic thing. But I would also encourage, talk to your landowners.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful rapport with landowners. Help them out. Bring them maple syrup. Help them stack wood if you can, because that's really the key to helping this continue.
Yeah.
Because we do have such a special thing here in New Hampshire.
We do, and that's a very important point, is that although we have these kind of open use land laws, it's always good to make friends with the landowner,
right?
No matter what. Now, sometimes you get in these very large tracts of land that may not be owned by a person, it might be owned by a company,
right?
Or they might be conservation land, and it's pretty much all public. And it's when you get into those smaller pieces that it's obvious that it's owned by somebody, that's when you really need to step it up.
Right. Absolutely.
And develop those relationships. But some of these pieces of land in New Hampshire are just vast, and they're owned by parts of the town. They could be town owned. They could be
trusts. There's a lot of places that are trust owned.
But the opportunities to hunt turkey in New Hampshire now is endless. But that wasn't always the case.
No, the turkey reintroduction is an amazing story. It started with just a handful of birds back in the mid 70s. The first batch didn't really take. Those were more southern birds. The second batch, late 70s, I think it was close to 40 birds from, I believe it was the upstate New York.
Yep.
That Mr. Ted Walsky was instrumental in.
Yep. I know Ted.
Yeah.
Ted.
Yeah, he's
Ted,
quite a character. He's a great guy.
He's a character. Yep. He's got a very dry sense of humor.
Very dry. Yes.
So
anyway, from those birds, a lot of trapping and transplanting took place, and now we're at a spot where there's 40,000 birds in the state.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting. It's an amazing story of conservation.
It really is.
And growth.
Where do we go from here?
Well, as an agency, as National Wild Turkey Federation, our goals have really shifted more towards saving the habitat and saving the hunt.
Okay.
And by that, making sure that there are opportunities to hunt and making sure that there are hunters that are interested in keeping this way of life that we just live for going. So, and by doing that, we're doing mentorship programs, which we've got in process right now. That's pretty exciting. We're working with Fish and Game a lot, and we're looking to be partnering with other non-government organizations. I've spoken to many people. I've actually just come on board as the president of the state chapter of the board of directors for the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about the possibilities.
So you're moving up the ranks.
I am.
I'm like, I'm almost sitting with royalty right now.
No. I'm just a volunteer. I'm just a volunteer that's passionate about it. My big drive, personally, is I've got a son who's a fantastic hunter.
Yes, he is.
He's grown up. He's so far ahead of the curve as where I was at that age. As he grows, as he gives me grandchildren, I want those grandchildren to be able to enjoy the same hunting, the same outdoor experiences that I was able to enjoy.
Right.
And at kind of the speed things are going, if we don't all work together, we could lose that.
And that's a very interesting concept there. And I think it's something that we overlook. We always say, we always ask, well, why do you want to do this? Well, I want to pass it along to the younger generation. But I think you have to kind of go back to what it meant to you and really what this whole thing means to the environment in a global sense. Right? We are some of the greatest conservationists out there.
Yes.
And because of that, and I've had very deep conversations with people that don't do this, and they're trying to understand why we hunt.
Right.
I said, well, is it a primitive thing, like where you have to go out and kill something? I said, well, I think there's a little bit of that. I think there's some of that.
There's so many reasons.
But there are many other reasons. And well, what about trophy hunting? Well, trophy hunting to me, it's important because it generates lots of revenue to go back into protecting the lands that these animals are living on. And I don't know about you, but I just like trees and open spaces.
I love being out there.
And I love being out there. There is a peace of mind that you get when you're in the woods that you will not get when you're sitting somewhere in the middle of downtown New York City and on asphalt. Right. Nothing against cities. We need them. But that's not where I like to hang out. Right. It does not do anything for my psyche at all. It's overload. Right. But when you go out and you can hear the birds chirping, which they were chirping this morning, they think it's spring, by the way.
There's a lot of angry robins out there, by the way. They all took their plane tickets and got here 3 days ago, and now they're covered up with a foot of snow. So
it's a weird April Fool's joke.
Right. But anyway, to go back to what you were saying, that's one thing about turkey hunting in particular. I mean, also deer hunting. I'm an avid deer hunter. Love it. But being in the woods when the woods are waking up, being part of that, you're there. You're hearing the first birds of the morning start. The owls are kind of going off.
Right.
The gobblers start, and that's magic.
It really is.
If anybody hasn't done that, and I know you have because you've been there.
Every morning, May 3rd through the 31st, even if I've got a bird, I still go out and do it. Right? May is magical.
Oh, it is.
Absolutely magical month.
Yep.
Especially early morning. It's absolutely insane. So tell us again when your banquet is and how can we find more information about it.
Okay. Like I said, our banquet is Saturday, April 29th, Bass Pro Shops. Doors open at 3 o'clock. Now, that's youth weekend. So what we're doing is we're getting our banquet started early so that we can have people come in and enjoy it, have the raffles, have the auctions, and then not be there super late.
Okay.
We want to get the kids home, have them get to go to bed so they can get up at the crack of dawn and go turkey hunting Sunday morning.
All right, so help me out in actually at the facility, at the Bass Pro facility in Hooksett, right? It's a giant facility. It used to be the old Lowe's. It's great. There's all kinds of fun goodies, and you can spend a bunch of bucks there. Yep. And where exactly in the building is the event going to happen? If
you go right up to the gun counter, there's a door right there.
Okay.
Go through that door, and that goes into their great room.
So they have
another room out there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And,
very cool.
So we'll have that area to ourselves. They're very, very generous with that, with helping us out. They're, like I said before, a tremendous partner.
Now, you are a volunteer, and you put your time in freely.
Strictly a volunteer.
Now, I couldn't help but notice that you walked out with quite a few items last year, and you ran up quite a tab.
I did. There were items there that I had been saving for, and I won them fair and square in the auction. I wanted to have what Jay's referring to is there are several really talented artists that will donate to our chapter.
Right.
Wayne Colpitts is a gentleman from down in Tennessee. He's a good old New Hampshire boy, but he moved down there. He has done so much for us with his amazing wildlife photography and his custom frames. And what's interesting is he does all his photography from a hunter's perspective.
Yes.
And his frames complete the story of the photo. And another gentleman that donates his art to us is a young man named Dustin DeTilio from up in Vermont.
Yep.
And his paintings they look like a digital photograph. They're so beautiful.
I remember the one you got last year. I do. It was crazy.
So
absolutely insane.
So anyway, people that are interested in going to the banquet, one of the best ways to do it is to go online, go to events.nwtf.org.
Yep.
And click on the New Hampshire, events in New Hampshire, and then click on the link for Capital Region Strutters.
Okay.
And right there, you can buy your ticket online. And if you do that before April 15th, that signs you up automatically for a gun raffle.
Awesome.
Just like an early bird incentive. Get in there, buy your tickets now. We've got to do it. It helps us. It helps conservation. The more people we have at these banquets, the more fun we have. And area merchants oh my goodness, I wish I could list them all. There's so many people that have donated generously.
You haven't memorized them yet?
Not every one of them. And I'm proud to say that there's so many that I can't. Right. That's a wonderful thing.
Right. All right. So, Carter, one more time. When is it? We know where it is, at the Bass Pro and Hooks.
Saturday, April 29th, 3 o'clock. Doors open.
Okay.
Dinner's at 5. Dinner's catered by Alan Zabosquin.
Awesome.
Tickets, and the other option is you could go on our Capital Region Strutters Facebook page. We have a Shop Now button. Click the Shop Now button, and that brings you to the events.nwtf.org link.
Very, very cool.
So it's kind of, and if anybody wants to contact me directly, maybe buying a ticket online is not your thing, go to capitalregionstrutters@gmail.com.
Okay. Very nice.
That will get to me. That's the best way to go if you don't want to buy it online.
Okay.
So.
All right. Very cool. Guys, you heard it here. Carter Heath, Capital Region Strutters president.
Yep.
April 29th. Doors
29th.
open at 3 o'clock. So if you're in New Hampshire or if you're coming to New Hampshire around that time, Bass Pro and Hooksit, got to check them out.
Yep. I do just want to throw a quick plug out. We're having our sanctioned calling event here today.
That's right. There is a calling event here.
Calling competition
later on
is
today.
Here today. Trinity Baptist Church. If you've never been to this show, it's an absolute gem. It is so cool. There's so many great people that care about conservation, care about hunting, care about fishing, snowshoeing, bird watching, care about it all.
And it's one of the things, and this is a whole other subject matter, but it's one of those things where these types of events happen locally wherever you live, and we're broadcasting nationally, but this is a broadcast from a local event from where I live in New Hampshire, and this happens all over the place. And it's one of those things you should always go out and get into
absolutely
go take a look, see who's in your area. All my friends are here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've got some of the just from coming here and getting into the outdoor industry, I've met more great people, and then we get to shake hands with all the people that listen to the show or involved somewhere else. Yeah. So. This is a great event. Do you have any front runners there? Any favorites to win that calling competition?
There's some big talent that's coming.
Really?
I can't even put a finger on anybody, but there are some serious contenders that are coming to play. The neat thing about this, where it's a sanctioned calling event, the winner of the Open, and the winner of the Friction division, will receive an invitation to compete on the Grand National stage for the 2018 Grand National Calling Competition.
Huge. Okay, so this
Nashville,
is
Tennessee.
no small deal today.
Right.
This is a big deal.
Yep.
All right, Carter.
So,
hey, man.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Carter Heath, guys. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit. We're going to talk to some people about shed hunting in New Hampshire. So stay tuned.